Today we're going to show you how to add a killer exhaust note and almost 30 rear-wheel horsepower to your stock 2015 through 2017 Mustang GT with help from Roush Performance. A cold air kit, exhaust, and a tuner, without a doubt the three most popular modifications Mustang owners make to their cars. Roush makes the decision very easy by offering all three in their Level 2 Performance Pack. It's going to include the Roush cold air intake, which will be a direct replacement for your factory intake, along with the Roush axle back, and this custom tuner. It's going to work with your 2015 through 2017 Mustang GT. The Level 2 Power Pack starts off with their cold air kit, which will be a direct replacement for your factory air box, provide more flow to the engine, and also have a lifetime reusable air filter. The exhaust is Roush's popular axle back, which will fit the 15 through 17 GT, and it's made of 304 stainless steel with 2.5-inch piping and a set of Roush 4-inch chrome tips. This system, combined with the custom tune provided by Roush, can provide 29 rear-wheel horsepower and 36 rear-wheel pound-feet of torque. For this installation, let a lift or a jack and jack stands, 1/4-inch ratchet, 7mm socket, 8mm socket, 10mm socket, 3/8 ratchet, 15mm socket, T20 Torx bit, marker, Sawzall, safety glasses, a file, and a Windows-based laptop computer. So to begin the installation, the first thing we're going to do obviously is remove our factory cold air intake kit. We'll start by removing the intake cover, just give us a little more room. And here to simply pull up. The factory air intake can actually come out in one piece. First thing we're going to do though is disconnect everything from it, the mass air sensor and all of our air lines. So just push in, the gray tab, push the tab to the side. And here there's a little red tab underneath. Pull that out and squeeze. Don't forget to remove the clip from the airbox. Okay, then we disconnect the hose clamp at the throttle body. Remove that. Then the last step, remove this bolt over on the fender. All right, now you can remove the whole thing as one piece. I should mention, our sound tube was already deleted. You remove that with a hose clamp, and our inlet's also been removed. We'll need a few stock pieces from the intake. This is the easiest one to lose though. A lot of times this will fall off. Once you just pop this off, put it back in the fender where it came out. Another piece from the airbox we're going to need is going to be this rubber grommet. Now typically there's actually going to be a metal insert. You push the metal insert out first, and then you can remove the grommet. And then the last part we need from the factory airbox is the mass air sensor. You begin the Roush installation now with the cold air kit, and we'll start by taking this grommet, put it in the opening right here. And like I said, the metal insert would go in from the top. You connect the air inlet to the Roush box. Just line it up, it'll pop into place. And the assembly can go into the car. You can reinstall this screw in the fender area. Okay, now grab the mass air meter along with our filter. Filter on with the metal downward and tighten it down. Now put the whole assembly into the airbox. Then install the provided screws. The housing installed, we can install the mass air sensor next. And it'll only fit one way, but as a trick, you want the black side facing up, chrome side here facing down. Then reinstall with the original screws. All right, and the last step here is to install the intake tube. And once they're in place, tighten them down.
Now we're
going to reconnect all the fittings. Now, if you have a 2017 Mustang or some even the late 2016s, you will not have a hose to go here, in which case take the supplied plug, just put it over the top. On the 15 and most 16s, that small one will connect there and the large one goes underneath. The last step is to plug in the mass air sensor. What we got to do is remove this little white tab right here. And there's another one right down here, kind of behind the airbox. Pull that off. I'm gonna give you some slack in the wiring. I can bring it behind the airbox over here. Fish it over and then plug it in. I think the installation of our cold air kit is complete. We can move on to the exhaust. While we're under the hood, the first step in the process of actually tuning the car, you'll need the computer code. You can see it located right here on the computer. That 4-digit code, in our case RMJ3. You want to write that down? You will need it later. With the cold air intake installed, now we're ready to work on the exhaust system. Now the axle back will require cutting. Now when you follow the instructions by Roush, what they tell you to do is to cut the pipe at the tangent of the curve. Now if you're like me and forget geometry and have no idea what the tangent is, don't worry, to look it up as well. The tangent is basically the flat part right at the beginning of the curve. So follow the curve down here and it gets flat. You'll actually even see there's almost a little seam here. This is where we're going to cut. Once you have a cut, make sure there's no edges here. If there are, just clean everything up. All right, now I'm going to grab the Roush muffler. They are side specific. Make sure you grab the correct one. Start by putting it in the rear hanger first. Line it up and slide it on. And slide the clamp over. We'll just snug it down for now, make our final adjustment later. All right, then grab a 4-inch chrome tip, put a clamp on that. Slide that on the muffler, get it straight, and then tighten it down. All right, tighten everything up and you'll repeat the process on the other side and we can move on to the tune. We're gonna fire it up, we'll show you how the Roush exhaust sounds. It adds a real nice rumble to the factory exhaust by just doing the axle back, and if you wanted more, Roush also makes a resonator to lead. With our Roush performance parts installed, now the next step is going to be the tuning process using the supplied cable along with your laptop computer. Now the Roush Performance Power Pack is going to provide excellent horsepower and torque gains along with gains across the board. But you want to make sure to get optimum performance out of it, you have to run at least 91 octane fuel and make sure the car is in sport mode. Okay, so now to flash the vehicle, the first thing you're going to do is go to a website and download some software. It's rdt.roush.com. Fill out the information, and on the bottom, click submit. There'll be a user agreement, it's going to pop up next. And on the bottom, click accept and submit. Okay, you're going to get, this is very important, you're going to get an activation code. You want to make sure you write that down and save it because you will need it. Now this should be at the bottom of your screen, but if not, just go into your downloads folder, you're going to double click, and walk through the installation. Once complete, you're going to finish. Close that, then you want to grab the supplied disk, put that in your disk drive, we're going to load that next. Again, that should load automatically. Then install the software on the disk. And close out of this, then right on your home page here, your desktop, the Roush Diagnostic tool, Click on that. All right, so on this page here, now you're gonna type in your email address, then that activation code we wrote down earlier. All right, now once you put the name and password in, this screen should come up. If you get a screen that says error or not connected, I should have mentioned earlier, the original website we went to, that it was the rdt.roush.com, you need to leave that up in the background because this program will be drawing information from that website. Okay, now at this point, you need to take your laptop and you connect it to the vehicle using the supplied cable. Plug this cable in the OBD2 port. What you're gonna do is just basically follow the headlight switch down. It's right here under the dash, kind of where your hood release is. Plug that in, connect the other end to your computer. Okay, once you get the devices ready, you're gonna hit the ignition button on the car. The key on, you're gonna select device, which is the dash bridge cable we just connected. And click Vehicle ID. All right, so once you click on Vehicle ID, this should come up. Make sure it is the correct year of your car and make sure the VIN number is correct. If you're not sure about the VIN, it's right inside the windshield on the driver's side in the front. What you'll do next is go down here to Module Programming. Now this voucher will be included with your Power Pack. What you're gonna do now is go on the back and enter this code. You start with the code, then the voucher family is on the front. And click redeem. Once you have the voucher family, the last step is the tear tag. Now what that is, that's the 4-digit computer code from under the hood that we wrote down earlier. Once you get everything, click redeem now. Now if you do everything right, it's gonna redeem the code and say redemption successful and flash is enabled. So hit okay, and then you go right down here to flash the car. Now basically what you're getting is you're basically getting a warning here. You're saying make sure that everything's plugged in like it's supposed to, make sure there's no accessories running, make sure everything's good to go, your battery's good. We're gonna hit okay. Turn the key on, hit okay, and it's gonna begin programming. Now this process here, your lights are gonna flash, beeper's gonna go off, you're gonna see all kinds of things happening with the car, all perfectly normal. Now here it is actually programming. You're gonna see the green bar is gonna move across, and the first time you do this, it will take some time. I've seen it take 5, even 10 minutes on the first tune, but as long as you're getting progress, you're good. Now here you can see you're getting a cycle the ignition code, so you're gonna turn the ignition off and then back on. And when you're done, you'll get a flash complete. And click OK. And you can disconnect the module. All right, so once you're done flashing the car, now the last step of the installation, start it up, make sure everything works like it should. And your installation is finished. Like I mentioned earlier, a cold air kit exhaust in a tune is one of the most tried and true ways to make horsepower with your S550 Mustang. Roush takes all the guesswork out of it with their Power Pack Level 2, which gives you the exhaust, cold air kit, and a tuner tied all together, which can provide excellent horsepower across the board. The installation is very straightforward. Figure about 2 hours total. You'll be back on the road in no time.